police officers in connection with a kidnapping and rape. After 2 hours of interrogation, the police obtained a written confession from Miranda. You starting to get it already? The written confession was admitted into evidence at trial despite the objection of the defense attorney and the fact that the police officers admitted that they had not advised Miranda of his rights to have an attorney present during the interrogation. The jury found Miranda guilty. On appeal, the Supreme Court of Arizona affirmed and held that Miranda's constitutional rights were not violated because he did not specifically request counsel. The Fifth Amendment requires that law enforcement officials advise suspects of their right to remain silent and to obtain an attorney during interrogations while in police custody. I share this case with you to say the Supreme Court upheld Miranda's sentence because he failed to ask or request for an attorney. He did not know his rights. So knowing the Fifth Amendment, you have a right to remain silent. You do not have to speak. My comment or what I'm sharing with you is knowing your rights is so important today. If your rights were not so important, there would not be so many things going on right now, especially in our times today. A hidden agenda, you might say, or whatever is going on behind the scenes, trying to take away your rights, especially your right to vote. Your rights, not just your right to vote, is so important. You need to be aware and alert of your rights in this society. And not only just society, even as a citizen of the United States. If you're traveling abroad, if you're not traveling, what are your rights when you purchase an item, when you make a decision, if you signed a contract? Some contracts only allow you 3 days to change your mind, that it can be voided out. Some of them are 7 days, some are 10 days. I had a scenario where I signed a document and I could not even rest because I literally changed my mind about the document I signed. Long story short about that is I researched the document I signed, and some states offered 10 days you can cancel, some 30 days, but the state of Florida for me was 10 days, and I was well over my 10 days. But something else happened in my case, and I'm grateful for it. It worked out on my behalf. But most importantly, knowing your rights is so important. If it was not so important, it would not be in the news as it is today. Even our last election showed how important your rights are, and those who voted made a big difference. But I'm not talking about you voting. Simple matters of you knowing your rights. What happened if your car needs servicing and you take your car in and they need to keep your car for approximately, let's say, 2 to 3 days? Are you allowed a loaner? Do you know? Are you aware that you can receive a loaner? Because what you do not know, people will take advantage because you're not in awareness of what you're entitled to. You need to know what your rights are. In a hospital, you have rights. In the courtroom, you have rights. In the institutional settings, you have rights. It is important to know your rights. Yes, Mr. Miranda, the Miranda rights stem from Mr. Miranda not knowing his rights to counsel and to remain silent. So what he said was used against him, and he was found guilty. I'm not saying he was guilty or not guilty. It's not my place to say that. But my information I'm sharing with you is it's important for you to know your rights. Even when you're traveling, if you purchased an airline ticket or a cruise ticket, how many days do you have that you can still receive a full refund or no refund? if you are in unforeseeable emergency, if a hurricane is coming or the cruise lines may have to go in a different direction, maybe you do not want to even go in that direction the cruise line is going. I'm sharing is knowing your rights is so important. If you travel abroad, if something happened to you while you're traveling abroad, do you know as an American citizen what you're to do in a foreign country if something happened to you? What happens in your local state here? Are you aware of your rights? Even if you move into a new home in a neighborhood, do you know what the rules and regulations are in that neighborhood? Are there association rules, just like they have in condos? You have so many things set in place. I'll say things, but you need to know your rights about everywhere literally you go as a citizen. When I was doing training in the department I retired from, I was a trainer, and it was important to me because what I taught, what I trained in was very important and it was very sensitive, okay? So when we encountered situations where we did not know, I did not know, and I don't like to say I don't know because there's so many options today, and I know people will say, I don't know. I think saying I don't know is too easy. So my comment to an individual I trained, if we encountered a new scenario that was never addressed before, I would say, listen, I will find out the response to this, and I'll make some phone calls. I'll get to the bottom of it so we can know how to better approach that situation another time if it comes up. Because I really didn't like saying I don't know. So I don't know if you're one of those people that say I don't know. Try not to say I don't know too many times, because if you keep saying something so many times, you won't know it. So I'm saying is there's too much information at our fingertips today to not say I don't know. But knowing your rights is important. Talking about, I just mentioned already, your hospital, your car insurance. If you got in a collision, are you allowed a car? Will you be covered for a car if you got in an accident? Different scenarios that you can come up with that you need to know what your rights are. And if it's a legal matter, of course, you're going to seek legal counsel. Medical situations, of course, you're going to seek medical advice from a trained doctor that specializes in that area, because you need to know what your rights are. You notice even your credit cards, all these entities want you to sign documents because they want to be, if it has to go to court, they want you to know that they advised you of what your rights are. And they sent you documents even when they make changes in policies. Now, if you do not take time out to read what your rights and the rules that apply to you are, then who is at fault? As I opened up with the case with Mr. Miranda, him not knowing his rights to remain silent was detrimental to him because his case probably could have gotten thrown out. But failure to know hurt him. What do you not know that you should know? Pay attention, be alert to what's happening in our society, especially about your rights. It's very important. I hope you have been encouraged and how important it is to know your rights. This is just scratching the surface, just something that needed to be shared for you to pay attention, especially in the times that we are in. Pay attention, stay alert, and be aware of what's happening around you, all right? I hope you were encouraged, enlightened, empowered by this information about how important it is to know your rights. 10 minutes, the class act, 10 minutes that can change your life with Louise Mark. Thank you so much for taking time out. You can reach me, you can inbox me, leave your comments, I will respond at my earliest convenience. My YouTube channel is The Royal Class Louise Mark, that is The Royal Class Louise Mark. Check out my webpage so you can see what I have coming up. That is louisemark.com. Thank you for your attention. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.